Hello and welcome to Court of the Rings here on twitch.tv/LOTRO stream, youtube.com/Lord of the Rings/live, and facebook.com/LOTRO. I am LOTRO's community manager, Cordovan, and I'm playing around with a little bit of settings and sounds and all that sort of thing. As you can see, I've got a green screen I'm trying to use and all that sort of thing. On second thought, mute. Nice. Now that's funny. All right, thank you very much for being here. I'd be happy to answer your questions. Hope you like the new kind of setup. I'd love to get your feedback. Clearly I've got a little bit of tweaking to do to really fine-tune that green screen, figure out how to take care of any kind of sunlight that I notice I can see a little bit of sunlight coming through behind my green screen and what have you. Sir, where did that go? Oh my gosh, I'm halfway off. How does this work? In the weather today. Yeah, I like this setup too. It's going to be very, very cool. I got a green screen. I've got a computer dedicated to LOTRO. I'm kind of working to professionalize our setup a little bit. New microphone. Well, old microphone that I'm using for this computer. And fancy little Stream Deck thing here. That is pretty rad. Lets me kind of do different things like change scenes and start streaming and what have you. So, very, very cool. I'll even, hopefully, help me fix my I'm muted on my microphone problem. So, we have some stuff to talk about a little bit today. I'd be happy to answer your questions as well throughout the stream here today. First off, the news. Dun 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 dun. I'm sorry. Update 22 is not going live to Bull Roar today. We had thought maybe we might be able to get it out in time for Bull Roar for our very first kind of early preview of Update 22, but it's just not quite ready yet. So we are going to be doing next week. Next weekend should be our first full Bull Roar of Update 22, and we got some cool stuff there. I'm going to leave it up to Tiber and crew to say exactly what all is going to be in there, but it's going to be a big chunk Update 22 stuff, including something that I don't think we've mentioned yet. We are going to be updating the user interface on the character select screen. It's been one of those things that's kind of been bugging the art department for a little while now, that they just wanted to have time to carve out and do that sort of work, so they're going to. I took a look at it for the first time, well, sort of post-conceptual yesterday, and it looks awesome. For those of you OCD folks, like myself a little bit, I think you're going to find it's a much cleaner, much more even, really just a more modern looking UI. It's not a huge update. It's really more of a polish pass than it is, say, a complete overhaul. But it looks better. And you'll be seeing that for the first time on Bull Roar, well, next weekend. The other thing, yes, Chromite. We are, at least that's my understanding, based on seeing it in 1920 by 1080 monitor, we are fixing the wonky aspect ratio stretching there. So, the other piece I wanted to mention, and this is really a follow-up from, I can't remember if it was last week or actually 2 weeks ago now, someone had asked whether we were going to be doing some further updating to the elf and human avatars. And at the time, I said I didn't think we were, but I turned this live stream into a den of lies, for we are actually going to be doing a little bit more polish on the human and elf avatars, particularly in the faces, and what that's going to mean is some new faces. One of our artists has been paying close attention to your feedback since the avatar update, and we have some new faces coming. We have the existing faces that'll still be there, and then with a little bit of maybe polish, and then we have a new set of faces that is closer in look to the old Avatar update. Maybe they're not, I don't want to say anything bad, but you know how some of the old Avatars maybe looked a little derpy? We fixed that, so it's kind of halfway between new and old. It's sort of inspired by the older facial face structures, but still updated to not be quite so unrealistic. and that kind of thing. You should be able to take a look at that too, I believe. If not next week in Bull Roar, then fairly soon on Bull Roar as well. Of course, all of our old avatars are still going to be fine. You can still, you know, click and do that if you want to. But we're going to be offering even some more choices here for the human and elf avatars. So that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I'd like to set up quite a bit. It's, like I say, I still need to do a little bit of tweaking. I was setting it up at night, and then when I went onto the stream today, I noticed that I've got some sunlight streaming through blinds that I'm going to have to kind of take care of. But for the most part, I think it's looking better, and I'm going to try to further work on the green screen and all that sort of thing, too. All right, let me take a look at chat. So here's the thing on these new faces. You can still have what you have now, right? So the stuff you have now is perfectly fine. It's really not going to be changing. But we're going to offer some further looks that are, like I said, inspired by the original faces. And what about new hair? Sorry. We didn't really have time to do a whole bunch new hair. But we are doing some, like I say, particularly it's facial bone structure and kind of facial hair and things like that. So, what if we like Derpy? Well, if you like Derpy, MacDewey, you can continue to be Derpy. You can still click that, you know, old avatar update and have that as you wish. We have talked, Thurless, about changing how other people see your characters. The main issue with that is a performance issue. I was actually in a meeting yesterday where we talked about that. And one of the things is that on each character it loads, they thought it was maybe somewhere between 4 and 8 megabytes of facial data for each look. And so, not for each look, but for the look. So we would essentially be doubling that if we had it so other people could see either new or old, and that's actually the reason why it was done originally like that. And there would be a concern that it would cause some kind of character data bloat in a way that would have detrimental impact to the game. But we'll see. There may be some other things that we could do there. So. After the last patch, there were some reports about lags, ping increase, freezes, etc. Any news about this? Only news I have to report is that our technical operations folks and one of our engineers was looking into it yesterday. When we look at our metrics in the environment, we're not really seeing any culprits there. That doesn't mean it's not happening, but that just means that our monitoring isn't showing whatever might be going on. So we're going to have to keep looking into that. Excuse me, I actually should have got some water, I guess, before I started the stream. But we'll continue to look into that. We are investigating, but also a lot of people are not reporting it. So, I don't know. We're going to have to figure out where it's coming from, what's causing it, that kind of thing. Have I mentioned anything about the Dwarf, Hobbit, and Bjorning model updates? No, other than they are still, well, the Dwarf and Hobbit are still next, and they'll be out there when they're ready. I hope some of the helmet clipping introduced with the Avatar update will be fixed. We did talk about that yesterday as well, and we'll be looking into that. Alright, let me head over quick to Facebook. Will there come a day when we can farm foodstuffs from horseback? You need a really long hoe. No, yeah, probably not. There are a couple of places where the freeze happens more often than not. Ostgiliath, before the battle and the field of battle. Some of that may be related to draw distance and light sources, things like that. But we specifically have heard some reports of something specifically post January 29th that we did. And so we're going to have to look into, well, we have been looking into what might be going on there. But like I said, we're not seeing anything in our environment that would be a culprit yet. Now that Mordor has been reached, what other regions are planned for development? All of them. I can't spoil that right now, but we have literally years worth of planning that we could theoretically do. You think the lag issue is related to the graphics settings, snap, pop, and player music? On a few tunes I changed the graphics setting and some of the settings stuck on custom. Okay. So here's the other piece of news then before I get into the game. That is, I have a treat for you. I was talking to one of our music guys who's putting together music for Update 22, and he was like, hey, do you want to play some of it on the live stream this week? Kind of tease what some of the new music is coming in Update 22, and I was like, heck yeah. So let's take a little bit of a break here, and this is about a couple minutes long. Looks like about 4 minutes long, and we're going to take a little bit of a musical break. Sit back and listen. Here's some music coming in Update 22.
No, I'm not here.
Oh, it looks like I was unmuted. or muted. Now I am unmuted. So now people can hear me. Say hello, Druid's Fire.
There you are. I had to unmute the stream so I could listen to the music. Hello.
Yeah. Very cool. Alright, so where am I in the books? I am through book 5, and I am on book 6, chapter 2. I've made my way during the music here to Coronir. And I'm, looks like I've got about 114,000 XP to get before I hit level 46. So we're going to be doing a little bit of book questing here today. Welcome to Angmar. Yep. Slowly but surely. Nice, Southern Belle. Nice. Can we get a tome in the store to skip the promotion points deeds? We would have to look into that. I have not heard Planetary about changing the new Osgiliath mounts, but I appreciate the feedback. Are the rewards of featured instances getting updated? Yeah, I believe we probably will be doing that at some point here in the relatively near future.
How can I be of service?
Who are you? Nay, it matters not. All that matters is that you have come. Matters are grave, and we have need of any assistance we can muster. We're gathering a mighty army to march south and crush the elves in Gondor between their hammer and the anvil of Mordor. Time grows short. False king, okay. Yep.
What can I do for you?
So you would know how this tragedy came to be. In truth, I know not. I do not know whether it was through some machination of the false king, or whether it was purely an evil chance, but our march was brought to an abrupt end. As we marched east, we found ourselves confronted by a vale filled with terrible statues. Take a rubbing from a lesser watching sting. Okay. I can do that. How do I do that? Where is that? Oh, looks like there's a couple of different places for that. Quite a few, actually. I see 4. All right, so let's go ahead and start doing that. I guess I should probably... Should I be talking to some of these other people with little rings in their heads? Some of the clan hunters, do you think?
They will get you XP for doing their quests.
Okay. I like XP. Oh, present yourself to the chieftain. Wasn't that Coronir?
No, he's a ranger.
Oh.
Follow me, please.
Is the music from the same person who did the 100 and 105 cat music? I think so. I think so.
It has been long since we've known peace.
The brave Duvardine have allied themselves with Karn Doom. It has been long since we have known peace.
Can you guys hear the in-game audio enough? It's fairly quiet on my end, but I'm not sure if it's too quiet or if it's too loud. I don't want to turn it up and then make it too loud. Can we get our mounts hats like the DDO pets? No, I don't think so. I don't think the mounts have hat. Well, they'd have to use some trickery, I think, to make that happen if we were to do that. Raise the volume of the in-game sound a little bit. Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, it was seeming kind of quiet to me, too. Alright. Try that. Any kinship updates planned? Just in a general sense. That, yes, we do plan to do that, so. All right, so it looks like we're basically heading into the wilderness area. Going to be killing some stuff, picking up some things, and overall having a fun time. I should probably set my milestone skill here too, huh? There we go. Will last year's anniversary event rewards be available this coming anniversary too? Yes. In terms of the stuff you get from the anniversary event, yes. Let me actually switch back to dissonance stance quick. So one of the pieces I've been getting a lot of use out of, I think, is this Coda of Fury. Some of you guys and gals who have been playing Minstrels, is it as awesome as it seems? Because it seems to be doing an awful lot of light damage and has been pretty useful. Also, when in group, I've been using the Dwarf Endurance, and I've been using this, man, excuse me, Anthem of War quite a bit as well. Will mounted combat ever get attention? I'm tempted to say probably not. We recognize that it may have some challenges. You know, there are some things that were we to redo it from the ground up, we might do differently. But the reality is I'm not sure that we would really want to devote the work to make it competitive or completely redesign it from the ground up. So I think we're kind of just going to stick with what we have on it. Cry of Chorus, Anthem of War, then Nuke is the way to go? Nice, okay. Any updates on Legendary tier system? Just that, you know, we are planning to do things. I can't really spoil that at this point. Are there plans to scale more obsolete features since Mordor? No. I mean, depends, but no, probably not. We're mostly going to be working forward progression rather than looking back. If fast travel from Thranduil's Court to Lake Town doesn't involve barrels, you guys will be in trouble. So that was a Hobbit thing. I don't know that that was really a Lord of the Rings thing, but I hear ya. Yes, please, Elda, remind folks that we have got an exciting thing coming up tomorrow. Where did I see that now? Where is that? Yes, remind folks about the LOTRO Family Chicken Run tomorrow. Absolutely. Very, very cool. Feel free, Elda, to pass a link in to chat, kind of whatever you guys are doing your main promotion on that. But it's really going to be a chicken run event, I believe, raising money for something or other, right? And feel free to just kind of stop by and say hello about it. Do you know anything about this chicken run there, Druid's Fire?
Arathard is running it on behalf of Fibro Jedi, who is is the person who runs LOTRO Family.
Yep. Cool. And do you know, is it going to be streamed on Arathart's channel?
Arathart's channel, yes.
Okay. Spelling on that's a little odd, so just find him in chat. I think it's also yeah. But there's like an AE in there.
Forget the E's in there, man.
Yep.
Professor Corey is going to do his fried chicken run to Mordor in a couple weeks. There'll be more about that when it's ready to go.
A fried chicken run?
Yeah, he's going to throw himself into the nearest lava pit close to the Crack of Doom.
Oh, nice.
He's been looking forward to it for months.
Oh, yeah, as well he should.
He's never been to Mordor before.
I ignore PvP questions, huh? Okay, nice. I answer a lot of PvP questions on this stream. Let me see what your PvP question is. Put cosmetics at least on wars. What about PvMP new armor? I have not heard of plans to do any PvP new armor. I have certainly answered that question, gosh, just about every week, I think. I get asked that question. It's not that we're against it or anything. I just don't see us doing that anytime soon. I'm sorry.
Do you have the Epic as your featured quest on the quest tracker?
I do have it up there. I'm showing, it basically shows one of 4 places probably where this thing is, huh?
Yep. Oddly enough, mine is pointing in the other direction. Very strange. Oh, now it updated.
Will we ever get a solo raid or skirmish for level cap players to get Mordor loot? A solo raid? Doesn't that kind of... Is that a terminology I just don't understand? What is a solo raid? I thought a raid was like up to 12 people.
You are not wrong.
No, sorry, Telerian, I have not heard of plans to do another chicken quest. You know I am in favor of it. But I may not speak on behalf of the entirety of the team about my love of chickens in LOTRO.
There should be a duck variant of the chicken runs.
I am all in favor of chicken runs. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm... There are some people who are like, enough with the chickens. They're wrong, but you know. Alright, now we're going back to Kuranir. While I'm doing that though, where's the Skull Amulet's Bloodstone Pendants? It's under Trophies of War, okay. Okay, so it looks like we need to basically head south and east a little bit in order to get to that. So, do that I shall. Is Vastin still working on creep work? Among other things, yes. He is not dedicated only to PvP, but he... My understanding is we are going to be doing some minor PvP tweaking this year. It probably will not be as much as some folks would like. But it is what we have dedicated. I don't know the question about whether the raid in Mirkwood, or the entrance to Northern Mirkwood, will be by swift travel or through some older areas. I think the answer is going to be both. But I would need to check with the world builders to kind of see where we landed on that. I remember being in here once before. It must have been in here on my hunter way back in the day. I'm sorry, Monstrous, I don't really have the ability to answer that specific kind of PvP harassment question. I guess I would... It sounds like you have, but I would just encourage you to continue to report that harassment using the in-game tools. Any fixes planned for gold spammers? I mean, yes. They annoy the heck out of us, too. We've been looking at things that we can do to further crack down on gold spammers. I mean, we do a lot kind of behind the scenes, but clearly more work needs to be done. They are persistent, to say the least. But yes, we are looking at things that we can do to further crack down on it that hopefully will have not too rough of an impact to non-spammers. But yes, we hear you that we need to do more, and we are planning to do so. We do auto-filter. As a matter of fact, some Headherb says, why aren't we auto-filtering anything with their URL? We do. And then they change space or add a character or work around the filter, and so we change it again, and then they swap it again, etc., 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 add spaces, add characters, what have you. So, yeah. Fun, huh? We have entire ISPs banned as well. We have entire geographic regions banned. We have all sorts of stuff, and I can't really get too much into the detail there, but yeah, it's frustrating. I've mentioned this in the past, but part of the issue is that you have to work on it on two fronts. One, say quick roll accounts and making it so it's difficult to do account after account after account. And then the other thing is, though, is when we get too restrictive on that, they tend to ramp up our efforts to steal other people's accounts and use that. And since they're using what up until the point they stole it was a legit game account, you know, that tends to allow them to spam and continue their nefarious work. Do SSG employees get free VIP? Yes, we do. There's an employee tag, essentially, that can be placed in our account that gives us the equivalent of a lifetime VIP. I can't give that level of detail about Update 23, what kind of Fellowship raid content we're going to have. It'll be big, and we'll have a lot more about it as we get closer to it. So, Monstrous, if you have the ability to private message me on the forums, get in touch with me on the forums, kind of let me have a better sense of what it is that you're dealing with there. Perhaps include a ticket number if you can, and I'll take a few minutes this afternoon to kind of see what's going on there. Skirmishes? Question mark? I can't really get into specifics about numbers of what we're doing and all that sort of thing yet. Sorry. Okay, I'm basically done here, Druid's Fire, so why don't we head back to Wraith and Coronir.
Okie doke.
So how you doing, Druid's Fire? What do you got on tap for your stream today?
Not a clue.
Not a clue? Alright. You're going to win. You're going to beat the game. That's what you're going to do, right?
Sometimes with a stick.
No, I didn't say the community manager. I said the game. No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
No, I use a hammer for that.
Woohoo! You're right, the producer's letter did say something about missing spiders in Update 22.
Esty Moose is quite happy that the spiders are missing.
Well, you know, we are heading to Shelob and Minas Morgul, right? So one would assume there might be spiders there. Sorry, Gussie. Have I had a discussion with Sev about his statements on the forums? Yeah. As a matter of fact, I was there when he was posting them. So, you raise a really good point. I guess I don't want to get into forum semantics here, Wilden. But I don't think that what he is saying does contradict what I was saying about how people are supposed to be gearing. Someone on the forums quoted a post that was about a specific thing, like a specific item, and using that to say that I'm not, or that like contradicts what Sev said, but I don't think it did. Sev and I were talking, and he agrees with me too. Just like, I don't think so. I guess I could call up, since I'm talking about the live stream here, I can bring it up real quick and just kind of talk a little bit about what Sev done said. Let me call that up here. By the way, we know the forums are slow loading as well. Particularly, it depends on where you're being routed and that. We have some stuff that we're working to mitigate. Will there be new armor with Update 23? I assume so. Mordor, dailies, and black keys. Okay. So, Sev said on January 30th, the next update in Mirkwood is not meant to be a vertical progression. What I mean is that it won't entirely update your armor set. You may find a handful of potential upgrades and support for holes in previous itemization, but you will not be replacing all of your high-end gear, and if you don't raid, there may be some extra choice pieces to earn as well. The next update will still be using the same Ash of Gorgoroth. It will be renamed, as I had said earlier, to something more generic. But as I said earlier, the Ash from your Mordor dailies will work on the new vendors and vice versa. The new update will provide additional quests to earn keys, and some quests will reward items that can be turned to Ash. The end goal is that in any given week, you will be able to earn more keys than you can now. On average, around 2 extra keys per week is our goal, and again, that is with Update 22. He then went on to say, a key part of our... Here's where that semantic argument comes into place. A key part of our reward structure from the endgame in LOTRO is the Ash of Gorgoroth as a currency for loot. Find items, disenchant them into Ash, and buy what you want. It's pretty simple in theory. We drop items as a reward for a variety of different player activities, If players engage in group content, they can gear up faster because they have more opportunity for gear drops, and because the drops can be of higher quality. That process is accelerated towards the beginning of a gear cycle because more items that drop are directly useful, and there is always a chance that an upgrade will drop directly, but the basic reward structure remains in place. Get items, disenchant them for Ash, buy what you want. I guess the rest of it is just kind of a little bit of loot talk. And then he says, players have been asking for more instances. We are looking at ways to provide that later in the year while still giving solo players lots to do. That might get to the skirmish question as well. So I got called out on the forums. Let me see if I can find that.
Isn't that a community manager bingo card point, like the center square, the free one?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. But anyway, someone had... yeah, dang it, now I'm not finding it. Anyway, someone had said that basically, earlier on in regard to a specific loot question back in early December, I had said something along the lines of the Ash of Gorgoroth system is not meant to be the primary way to acquire gear, that running the content was. And that was interpreted to be a contradiction of what Sev said this week on the forums, but I don't believe that's true. Because it is still the case that running content is meant to be the primary source of acquiring gear, and that the Ash of Gorgoroth, while it is a key system for Endgame, is not the entirety of Endgame. It is a backup system, as Sev stated in that post, to allow you to make progress regardless of what drops for you. So I guess you can get into semantics in terms of, am I saying something is higher than another, and are they an equal leveling plane and all the rest? But I don't actually see what I said as being too contradictory, because we're both saying that in ways to acquire loot, you can get it from random drops, and if you don't get it from random drops, you can get it from the Ash of Gorgoroth. And I think that that's ultimately the key point here regarding acquiring endgame items. So, alright. Will there be a level increase this year? I don't think so. Please address the viability of the Warden class in terms of DPS and tanking as you consider balancing classes. I do think that we'll be taking a look at Warden in that regard as we do our class work this year. Anyway, I appreciate, Wilden, you bringing up... It looks like maybe Moobot kind of caught some of your posts in spamming and that sort of thing, but you basically said specifically what I said, which is that a key part of our reward structure for the endgame in LOTRO is Ash of Gorgoroth as currency for loot. We have tried to be clear that Ash of Gorgoroth is meant to be a non-primary way to get gear, with the primary method being running of content. So yes, thank you for calling those two things out. A number of the raid armor sets aren't working. That sounds like definitely a bug that we should be fixing. Sorry, Thurless, I'm not going to interpret someone else's subjective opinion. We would like to... Oh, sorry. Aruran over on YouTube is asking for Northern Mirkwood housing. I can't confirm any kind of expansion of premium housing, but it's something we would like to do. Yep. Look over here, Cord. We have good ideas. Yes, I know you do, YouTubers. I appreciate it. Thank you. Will we ever release gift cards for in-game currency again? I assume you mean like LOTRO points cards. No, I don't think so. The idea of printing physical cards for LOTRO points, I think, is part of our past. Especially since we have the LOTRO market, where you can just buy a code and pass it along that way. Alright. Neeker Breaker Pets. That one comes up a lot. I don't know if it's the same people asking me for it or what, but Neeker Breakers are pretty cool. So
We should have them.
yeah, yeah. Dum-dum. Any plans to improve the Yellow Hunter line? So I don't want to get into this is what we're going to do for this class. This is what we're going to do for this class. That's ultimately going to be up to people other than myself to do that work over time. I will say, kind of as I've been saying, that what we're going to do with class passes is, rather than do a full class pass, you know, now is the Minstrel update, and then will be the Hunter update, and then will be the, you know, XY update. We're going to be more diversified about it than that. So what we're going to be doing is doing,
Will you hear my
you know,
sorrows?
targeted updates across a spectrum of things over the course of time. So it's going to be like a little bit of work here, a little bit of work there, a little bit of work there. And with the goal of raising everything up, hopefully to be where we want it to be. Oh, actually, speaking of that, speaking of class updates, I do have actually one thing I can mention. And that is that on Bull Roarer, we're going to be adding a new thing. It's going to essentially be a training dummy that will help you as the player do some DPS testing. What it'll let you do, it's basically just a dummy that absorbs damage, and it'll spit out how much time it took to kill it as you do your DPS testing. So at least I think that's how it's going to work. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But at the very least, it's going to show you how much damage you did. And you can use that to help with some of your kind of suggestions and that sort of thing about various things. So very cool. And that'll be on the Isengard Tavern with Bull Roarer. Now where am I going? East. Who knows? Maybe we'll put it on live at some point, but we'll see.
Stay a moment.
Oops, wrong way.
I was gonna say.
So, hopefully you're hearing me okay this week. I do want to apologize. We got some feedback last week about our conversation where basically I was talking over you a little bit, and you know, maybe you were talking over me a little bit, and that was really a technical issue. Some people nailed it on the forums where they were just like, I didn't have push to talk active correctly on the in-game client, so we're using Discord and not push to talk, and so now you'll have a better sense of when I'm talking, and I'll have a better sense of when you're talking, and hopefully we will talk over each other less.
I would hope so.
Yep. Oh, I can't drop news about that. I want to. Sorry, there's something that someone brought up in chat that we actually are making progress on that I have to be super teasy about because I am not authorized to confirm it yet. On the dummy, will you be able to link results a la combat analysis? I don't know. I don't know what the level of exporting that data is going to be. At the very least, you could record a video of you doing it. So. Oh, Wilden, daily expedition quests now. So, but it was that some people were able to take advantage of a broken clock where they were resetting at 3 a.m. and at 10 a.m. So depending on where in the world you were and when you wanted to get up, you could kind of double up on some of your dailies. That was not actually working as intended. So we've corrected it to be what it really should have been the whole time. And it also fixed an issue where some players would not always get credit for their daily because the reset times didn't match up. So someone is saying that ended up being a cut in the amount of keys available to some solo players. That's true, but only because people, you know, the dailies are meant to have a certain, I think it was what, 18-hour clock, 24-hour clock. And so being able to double that up clearly wasn't intended. I recognize that people want, you know, enjoy getting that as many keys as they can, but you know, come on. If you're supposed to get 1 key in 24 hours and you're getting 2, you know. In the realm of popular opinions, I'm sure that will be among the top. Yeah. Who am I grouping with? I am grouping with Druid's Fire, Radio Free Gallifrey. Introduce yourself, Druid's Fire. Let the world know about your greatness.
Well, I mean, that should be self-evident.
But you've been a long-time player at LOTRO. You are in a band, and you do stuff.
Yeah.
And you
I started a band.
They're called the Rolling Stones. You may have heard of them. No, I'm kidding.
I look way better than Keith Richards, I'm sorry.
No, but seriously, introduce folks to yourself.
As Cord said, I am a longtime player of LOTRO. I'm one of the lifers that everybody hates because lifer. I like the story because I've been a Tolkien fan since I was many years ago when I was a child. So having
like 2010, right?
Yeah, shut up. And getting to play a Lord of the Rings MMO is like the best thing ever.
You also like to troll.
I do like trolling it because it's like shooting fish in a barrel.
It is. But the other thing is you stream, you know, now that I'm streaming on Fridays, you basically help Corey out with his stream and then do your own stream on Fridays. Because apparently you don't work on Fridays or something, right?
Yeah, that's correct. I don't work on Fridays. Or Saturdays or Mondays.
So anyway, it makes sense to just kind of, you know, I'm looking for someone to help answer these questions, get me through content more quickly, help me just kind of answer some questions that I maybe don't have direct knowledge of. And so it's useful to have you on the stream.
Oh, thank you.
Haha, so you broke down and got Discord. It's not so much that I got Discord as I was finally convinced to use it. I know people like Discord. I am not a Discord fan. Just
we'll fix that.
Personally subjective, it annoys me. I want it to get off my lawn.
yeah, get off my lawn. You can tell Corey to get off your lawn. There. Does that make you feel better?
Speaking of which, we are almost done here because Corey is going to be streaming here in just a few minutes.
When he gets here, yeah.
People are asking for more hobbies. Hobbies are cool. That would be neat. It's a pretty cool looking area.
It is. I really like it. Except the whole death statues that we need to resolve here as part of the epic in a few chapters.
Why? What's wrong with them?
Head due east and see what happens.
All right.
I'll ride with you.
All right. They're called death statues, so they must be fun.
They're perfectly fine. They look awesome. The art... Come, you should check out the art on them. They're pretty cool.
That sounds like a great way to end the stream.
It's a perfect way to end the stream.
So this reminds me of kind of like an alien landscape.
I know, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Watch out for the turtles.
Oh, those turtles are awesome.
They do look awesome. They're the same ones that are in Nan Wetherin, off the horse fields. But yeah.
All I know is that when I'm fighting things in this world, we should really be having the music go dun 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 dun.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Yep.
See, look at the art on these statues. Isn't it amazing? You need to look at them real close.
Ooh, they are death statues, aren't they? Nice.
Gotcha.
Sweet. All right, yeah, that sounds great. I'll retreat now, and we will call it a stream. Let me just do one quick pass through the comments, see if there's got any last things I can answer. Oops. Oh, you're pelting me with snowballs. Let's see. Mordor Sail. When will Northern Mirkwood release? Northern Mirkwood will be coming in Update 22. We expect to have our first Bull Roar preview of Update 22, not this weekend, but next weekend. And no word on when Mordor will be on sale. Bjorning wrath pots for lower levels. I've not heard of that, but that sounds like something we should maybe do. I don't really want to... So someone is asking, will we be doing more skirmishes? We're going to be doing more of everything, basically over time. But I don't want to start locking down what kinds of content will be coming in our next updates. You'll find out about that stuff pretty soon. Okay. Death statues, yeah. So I appreciate the feedback on the keys, but you know, I think our statements have been pretty clear on that. So we are going to be getting more, as Sev stated there. All right, so we have got Corey Olson coming here with the Tolkien Professor in just a couple of minutes, and then Druid's Fire, when do you start streaming?
When Corey gets done, approximately 2:30-ish.
Okay, and if I recall then, we also have 6 p.m., 8 p.m., and 10 p.m. So we have got a nice busy Friday schedule. Also, 10 a.m. tomorrow, Easily Lost with McVegan Pants. We have the Dark Evening of Middle Earth at 2 p.m. and a Saturday night show as well. Actually, no, I don't think that's still going on. Is it? Psycho's not streaming, is she? Yeah.
I have not heard one way or the other.
Yeah, okay. And then you can find her full calendar over on the Twitch page. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following us on Twitch, YouTube, and or Facebook. Really appreciate it. I'd love to get some feedback as to kind of the new layouts and all that sort of thing. Any advice, suggestions, audio, video, comments, things like that. Let me know. Thank you very much, Druid's Fire, for joining me today, and I will see everybody next week. Have fun.